Well, nearly 40 years of football history is drawing to a close. Tomorrow, AAMI Stadium will host its final AFL match when the Power meets Carlton. With more, Mark Aston joins us from the ground live. Mark.
One thing's for sure, AAMI Stadium, she's getting a little bit like us, isn't she? She's getting tired and she's getting old, but she has an extraordinarily wonderful, rich history. Rising from the swamps.
It's the new home of the South Australian National Football League.
The name said it all, Football Park. And from 1974, it hosted some of the fiercest clashes the SANFL has seen.
The 77 premiership was without doubt the highlight. To finally win the premiership on that day was a lot of emotions.
But in 1991, it became a national stage, showcasing local talent.
I was actually playing for Hawthorn against Adelaide in their very first game back in 1991, but I guess to make your AFL debut in your home state in front of your family and friends was, something I always never forget.
And 6 years later, the club which dominated the ground in the local league joined the AFL party.
With their theme song in the background.
The capacity grew. Footy Park became AAMI Stadium. After all, it's not always been just for football. Some of music's biggest names have stopped in too. But there's no song which matches the sound of an AFL finals crowd. The grounds hosted 20 home finals, 8 wins for the Power.
To get into our first grand final, just an amazing feeling, very emotional at the end of the game for a lot of us players who had been through that previous 4 years. 7
for the Crows, including the dream matchup in 2005, a showdown semi.
And beating Port by 80-odd points in the final was pretty good. And losing the first showdown was probably the most embarrassing moment.
The best attendance was for a showdown in 2003. The home ground is shared, but for 23 years, West Lakes has been a crow's nest, bringing the biggest crowds.
I certainly think that from game to game, AAMI Stadium has a cauldron-like atmosphere.
The people's venue.
Before the game, as you're walking in, everyone's got their barbecues, flicking snags. Obviously, you get offered a few.
Time to create a new tradition.
I love Footy Park, let me say that, but Adelaide Oval is something special.
Beck, I'll be back a little bit later on in sport with more highlights from AAMI Stadium over the last 39 years. Plus, we'll also look at the Crows and Port Adelaide games this weekend. Back to you.
We hope they both get up this weekend. Thank you, Mark. Mark Aston at AAMI Stadium.